Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're up here working on an old Mercury car. We're going to do a couple upgrades and things to it. We're putting a 460 in it. It's getting a 4.9-inch and automatic electric transmission. I'm going to show you a little bit of the car, and then we're going to go ahead and get into working on it. All right, this is the car. I didn't got the hood off because somebody else had done put a 460 in it, and I think it was a C4 that they had in it. And it had, when it got here, it was missing some stuff off the transmission and everything. And we're gonna work on the motor mounts so they don't, because some of the welds on them don't look the greatest. So we're gonna fix some of that and brace it up and fix some of the lines. Pulled the motor out because when they done it, that piece is welded all across. That's the original tailpiece. So they cut the top off and they shoved the motor in there and the transmission. So you couldn't drop the transmission without pulling the motor because of the way that's made. And the motor had, the rear seal was leaking in it. And so we pulled it out so that way it could get fixed. And it's been fixed. It's ready to go back in now. It ought to be a pretty decent 460. It's got aluminum heads and all on it. But the transmission was missing some pieces, so it's not going in, but we're gonna cut on both sides so that way that's all gone. And when we put the motor and transmission in, we're gonna build a cross member so that way you can unbolt it to work on the car. We're gonna do that. A little bit of the side of the car. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's got a lot of stuff in the shop, so it's kind of crowded, but so there's that. We're gonna go ahead and get the car raised up, look at what we got to do on the rear end, and I'll show you the new rear end that we're putting in it. We just picked it up to put in here, and then after it's mounted in there, we'll have to figure out drive shaft length and brakes and everything on it. But we're gonna go ahead and get the car raised up. Got white in here. There's what I was telling you about the way they done it. They just cut the top. So we're gonna cut it off on both sides, and then we'll make a piece that either, I don't know if it, we'll have to see where it falls out, but it's either gonna go up the side and bolt, or we're gonna do something where it bolts into the bottom, but we'll see. This is the rear end we're pulling out. Hopefully it's not too bad of a job to get out, because we're going back. We pulled all the measurements and had a 9-inch made that's supposed to bolt right back in here. So walk over there and I'll show you the rear end, and then we'll get to pulling this out. All right, here's the rear end that we got for it. It's a real nice piece. All the tabs on it. Housing's been powder coated. Good axles. I don't know exactly what gear's in it, but I'm gonna go ahead and get y'all set up, and we're gonna get this rear end pulled out so we can try and get this one put in. All right, we got the bolts off and all. It has air shocks on it, so the lines are tied up in this brake line here. So we're gonna try and get them freed out, because I don't know if they're gonna wind up changing the shocks or what, so we don't wanna hurt them. But the brake line, well, oh, that's the breather. The brake line's rusty, and the way the stuff is up here, You can see the coating falls off the car, so it needs to be undercoated. But it's rusty up here too, so I'm gonna just put a pair of vice grips on this and cut it. That way it's not leaking fluid, but cut it, and when we put the new rear end in it, we gotta run all new metal brake lines and stuff on it anyways, when we figure out what brakes we're doing in. So I'm gonna clamp that, cut it, and then either figure out where that's tied up at out there to get it out. I have this bolt right here is already loose. I got to get a swivel to take this one loose. Then we should be able to set it down, roll the rear end out, pick the car back up, and start setting the other rear end in it. All right, we're back under here. I put the clamp on there, but it still would barely leaking, so when I cut it, I just take the bottle on there. And these lines, I just done it. Let me turn this light here so that way we can see over here. I just unscrewed it out of the thing because I didn't want to chase it all over the dang place or where it was going and stuff. So I just unscrewed it out of there. Unscrew this one out, and then we'll take the last two. Well, it's got parking brake cable, so we'll have to figure out how it's attached or if it's even attached. Yeah, it's attached. So we're gonna have to unhook it. We'll probably just unhook it on them there. Let it out, because the thing is, it's already cut. So yeah, it's broke off both sides. So we're just gonna unhook it right there and drop it out that way. All right, we got the car sitting back on the floor. Everything's unhooked. I just unhooked the shackles and laid them down. So when I pick up on the car, they're still attached in the front, so it'll swing up some. We'll roll the rear end back, and then when the rear end's out, we'll raise it all the way up so we can start cleaning on everything. All right, the car should raise up and the rear end should stay. All right, go back there. Try and roll it back just a touch. Make sure everything is looking okay. And it all seems to be looking all right. It's not wanting to cooperate, trying to do it one-handed, but there's that. So take my screwdriver under the tire here so that way it quits rolling. All this is free now, so we're gonna raise the car on up. All right, now that we got it off, so it's all here, we're just hooking the original shocks back up to it for now. We're gonna have to redo brake lines, so, but I'm not sure. We may be changing and putting a different style. I just have to talk to the customer and see. But we're gonna pull the springs back up, attach them, so I can wire brush them, get all that painted. And then if you can see, somebody's undercoated it before and it's not sticking at all. So we're going to try and get all the big flakes of it off, the stuff that's not stuck good, and get everything back here cleaned up. We're gonna wind up doing the hole under the car. Gonna redo it, But I'm gonna start off with just getting the back cleaned up, get some paint on it, so then we can put the new springs in it. And yeah, I know there's a big pile of junk here now. Found a deal on a bunch of bolts, had to pick them up, and then it decided to start raining before I got to put them anywhere, so they're sitting right in the way, so we'll have to move all them, put the door back up. But back to this, you can see the stuff, just the coating. The car's actually not that bad under here, but whoever coated it before, this stuff did not stick. I don't know if it's the kind of coating they put on it or what, but I'm gonna get the springs hung back up, so we can start wire brushing on them, get some paint on them, and then we'll start putting a new rear end in it. Here's some more of that undercoating. It's just piles. When it comes off though, it's not, there's still nothing under it, but it's just everywhere. I got it all, it's up in the fender, so it's kind of hard for me to reach it all, but I'm just showing y'all some of the big chunks undercoating to kind of show more how the undercoating is on this car. But we're gonna get all that took care of and get it all straightened out. All right, I don't know what happened to the camera. It stopped videoing because I had a video of me putting this in, but I don't know what happened. It cut off, but it's all in and bolted in now. The shocks, we did not hook them back up yet because we don't know what we're gonna do about that. We still have to fix the brake line because we're gonna replace it up there, but we also got to run new lines on the rear end too, because there's no lines at all on it yet. Well, I guess that's about it on the rear end. I started cleaning all the undercoating off, and parts of it come right off, and then parts of it was stuck and it would not come off. And I didn't want to spend tons and tons of time on it. It really needs to be blasted off or something, but I got all the big chunks off and stuff that was falling off of it and shot some paint over it, so then that way it looked better and it wouldn't rust out again. Then up here, we cut this out. All right, you just seen us cutting all this, because remember it had that big brace that went across here, the left hat section of it. This piece was already hacked out here, so just cut it off there, and when we get under there some more, I'll clean it up. But we got all that out. Just cut it off here. We still got to do a lot of cleaning and grinding. Move the lift arm, and I'll be able to cut this closer here and grind all that stuff up where the old one used to be at. Same thing on this side. So the lift arm's in the way, so then when we move the lift arm, we'll be able to cut it down. But now we'll be able to put, I like this thing focusing. There it goes. We'll be able to build a new cross member that goes here. So then that way you'll have more room around the transmission, more for when they run a new exhaust on it. And it'll be a lot sturdier because they had cut a lot of stuff out up here and didn't really do nothing. So the only way to pull a transmission was to pull the motor. So with all that being cut out, we're gonna try and move some of this stuff, pull the tires off this rear end, put them back on this car. I'm gonna put all that in a bus or in the back of another car for storage until I got time to go through it. And we're gonna try and set the motor and transmission in here. Not gonna have time to build a cross member today, so we just chain that up, but we'll have time to get our drive shaft measurement. That way we can get that ordered, and so it's on the way. But All right, we're gonna get all this shit moved and get them tires off of the older end on the car and then the older end out of the shop. So then we can start setting the motor in. All right, we got the car setting back down. Got the wheels and tires on it. We started sticking the motor in, and it's really aggravating because you can't go, so you gotta really hold it. We had to pull the distributor cap and all off so we could rock it enough, but it's almost in now. It's showing you a little bit of a update of how it's going. I mean, and it's tight when it goes in, but getting closer. It's almost to the point where we'll be able to start leveling it out and all and get it to slide on back. But we're gonna finish pushing it in and then we'll be back. All right, we got the motor and the transmission just sitting in the car. I just got a ratchet strap holding the tail housing up because we ain't gonna build the cross member right this second. So that's just gonna hold it so that way it sits there. But 460 in one of these cars is really tight. That bolt still got to slide back, but I got to raise the back up to get it to go in. But I mean, they are tight and all this stuff. Whoever done it the first time and made all these mounts, I think they could have changed the mounts around a little bit and would have helped a lot of things. But the way that they put the mounts, I mean, it puts everything is really tight on the steering and everything. But I'll let the car down so you can see it from up there. But I was just showing you underneath. There's the new rear end. We got the drive shaft measurement this morning. The motor's a little tweaked, but some of that's when they welded the mounts, and then a little bit of that is where that bolt ain't all the way in. But we just have to deal with what we got, because I think they rocked it trying to get clearance on the master cylinder up top. But all right, I'm gonna let it down and we'll look at it from up there. All right, I let it down so you can see up here, and as you can tell, it's super tight up here. There's just enough room for the radiator and stuff. But this stuff is all super tight. But it goes in there. It sets the car down a lot too, but I guess this is where we're going to end this video off at. And then when the drive shaft, and we're going to order it, and when it all comes in, we'll get it back on the lift, get the drive shaft in it, build the cross member, and button up some stuff on it. Then we'll run fuel lines and everything, and be able to hopefully get it all running again. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.